In this video I'm gonna show you how to configure Site-to-Site VPN using the Palo Alto Firewall. So in my lab I only have Palo Alto firewalls, but if you need to learn how to connect a FortiGate or a Cisco ASA or something else to the Palo Alto, I'm sure you can find some information on the internet, but I'm basing this video only on Palo Alto and also a little bit theory regarding IPsec connections and VPN that you can use also for other devices. So in the beginning of this video now, I'm going to be explaining some theory, what's the difference between policy-based and route-based IPsec connections. So you can have two types of VPN configurations. You can have policy-based VPN or route-based VPN. Policy-based VPN, you need to configure what's called an interesting traffic or the encryption domain. This relates to the traffic that's supposed to go inside the VPN tunnel to be encrypted. On the Palo Alto, this interesting traffic is called proxy IDs. So you define these proxy IDs on the Palo Alto by listing your local networks on the left side and your remote networks on the right side. For example, you can configure on your local network 192.168.20/24 and your remote network 10.0.20/24. It means that all the communication that goes through the firewall from the network 192.168.20 to the 10.0.20 is going to be encrypted and is going to be sent through the VPN tunnel. Everything else is just going to be forwarded without being encrypted, without being forwarded to the VPN tunnel. With route-based VPN, you configure on each side or on each gateway a tunnel interface, and these tunnel interface, they are the endpoints from the VPN configuration. So the VPN configurations goes from one tunnel interface to the other one on the other side. So the configuration is rather simpler than the policy-based VPN, because you don't need to configure this interesting traffic, because everything that hits the tunnel interface gets sent through the VPN tunnel, and you can control the traffic using your routing protocol. In my opinion, one big advantage of route-based VPN compared to policy-based VPN, it supports dynamic routing. So it means that you can have more than one tunnel, maybe two, maybe three, connected, and you can use your routing protocol to control where the traffic is going to go to. So for example, if you have one tunnel that goes offline, the routing protocol should send all the traffic through the other tunnel that's still established, and you can use it as a backup mechanism, which on the policy-based you cannot really do in this way. Another disadvantage from policy-based VPN is that whenever you change your interesting traffic, either you add some networks or you remove some networks, depending on the manufacturer. I've noticed before some network disturbances. So usually I used to do this outside of the normal time, which with route-based VPN, you just change your routing and the normal traffic just goes through. There is no disturbance in the network. One disadvantage of route-based VPN is that not all devices support it. I'm going to concentrate this video on route-based VPN, but let me know in the comments below if you would like me to make a video also about policy-based VPN, how to configure on the firewall. So IPsec is a suite of protocols and algorithms used to provide security services for IP communications. IPsec is the industry's standard for configuring site-to-site VPN. So Internet Key Exchange, or IKE, is a protocol used by IPsec to secure the communications. It's responsible for negotiating and exchanging the cryptographic keys and other security parameters. There are two versions of IKE, IKE version 1 and IKE version 2. The second version is more modern and secure, and this is the one that you should be using. So here's a high-level explanation of the phases involved in IKE version 2. This understanding will be able to help you in the future by troubleshooting site-to-site VPN connections. The first message exchange between the initiator and the responder is called IKE SA init. It includes proposed security parameters such as encryption algorithm, authentication methods, and Diffie-Hellman values. The message IKE auth is encrypted using the key material derived from the parameters that were exchanged in the first phase, IKE SA init. In these messages, the security parameters for the production traffic are going to be negotiated. The gateways also authenticate themselves, either using pre-shared key or certificate. Whenever this phase is completed, both gateways have established the child security association or child SA that's going to be used for the IPsec communication. In order for you to be able to exchange the information with your client or with your partner, I prepared for you a connection sheet. It's just an Excel table used exactly for this kind of information. You can download it through cs.netsums.com, CS from connection sheet. You can also find this link below in the video description. Okay, enough theory now. Let's get to work now. But before we get to the Palo Alto, I would ask you, if you're enjoying the video so far, just give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you want, and let's get to work. So I have in my lab now two Palo Alto firewalls connected through a router, simulating the internet. The outside and the inside interfaces, they are already configured, and what just need to be configured now are the tunnel interfaces and the VPN connections. As I mentioned before, I'm using route-based VPN, and for that we need the tunnel interfaces. So guys, I'm gonna be configuring my firewall using Panorama, but you might as well configure yours using directly on the firewall. The file that I'm gonna be configuring with you guys is gonna be the PAVM, and I'm gonna start going to network interfaces. I'm gonna create a new tunnel interface. This is the first configuration that I'm gonna do. So I go to add, choose a number for the interface. In my case, number 1. Virtual router, I'm gonna select the one that I have, default. Security zone, I'm gonna make a new zone for the VPN tunnel, and I'm gonna call this VPN Site-to-Site. Click OK. I'm gonna add an IP address. As you can see on the graph, I need to give this one the 192.168.02/30. And under advanced, I'm gonna choose my management profile ping, so that if I want to configure a tunnel monitoring, that this interface can be pinged from the other side. So it means that the other side is going to try to ping this interface, and the interface is going to answer like this. This is going to be the way that the file is going to monitor the tunnel to see if the tunnel is working, if you want to configure tunnel monitoring. Okay, so press OK. There's my tunnel. Now we can start configuring the IPsec stuff. So the first thing we need to do is go to IKE crypto. So we're gonna click on add, and I'm gonna make a new crypto profile. I'm gonna call this just netsums crypto profile. You can call whatever you want. Diffie-Hellman group. Diffie-Hellman group is currently the suggested one is to use group 20 if you're using encryption with a key size until 128. If you use 256 or above, the recommendation is to use group 21. I've tried this before, but one of my firewalls don't support group 21, so I'm going to be using group 20 for all of them. Authentication. I'm going to choose non-authentication. I'm going to show you why. Because if I'm using GCN has already an authentication inside the protocol, let's say like this. So the encryption protocol already does some authentication. So 8 hours is fine for my IKE. Click OK. Next one is the IPsec crypto. I'm going to choose add netsums IPsec crypto profile. The protocol I'm going to leave ESP. The encryption is going to be the same, 256 GCM. Authentication again, none. Diffie-Hellman group again, 20. I'm going to leave 1 hour for the key exchange. And I'm not going to enable the live size. I'm going to leave like this. So click on OK. The next one is the IKE gateway. So I click on add. I'm going to call this one netsums IKE gateway. I'm going to choose IKE v2 only. The interface I'm going to use is the Ethernet 1.2, and my IP address, oops, I chose the wrong one. That's it. My IP address is the 201. The PIP address is going to be 101.001. Authentication is going to be pre-shared key, not the certificate. The pre-shared key I'm just going to call Palo Alto S2S. Palo Alto S2S. The local identification, if you don't choose anything, it's going to use the IP address of the of both gateways. I'm just going to leave with none, but you can choose, here are the options that you can choose: FQDN, IP address, and some other stuff. You can choose the IP address and enter the IP address here. It's the same as if you choose none. This is the default option. Comment, net sums, IKE gateway, whatever. Okay, there it is. The next is the IPsec tunnel. So let's go to the IPsec tunnels. I'm going to click on it, and then I'm going to add a new one. Net sums, IPsec tunnel. Tunnel interface is going to be the one that we chose, tunnel 1. The IKE gateway is the one that we created. The IPsec crypto profile, is the one that we created with net sums. Some comment, net sums, IPsec tunnel. Here, show advanced options. You should always enable this replay protection. The anti-replay window you can choose. The highest one is more secure. The recommendation, well, Palo Alto, the default now with this version that I have is 1024. I'm just going to leave it like this. It's already enabled by default. Tunnel monitor, if you want to monitor your tunnel, you can configure here. For this example, I'm not going to monitor. And here on top, the proxy IDs. If I was configuring policy-based VPN, I would have to configure the networks here. I'm just going to click on that, but I'm not going to go through it. I enter a local network, and then I enter a remote network. If I have more networks, more than one network pair, I need to enter them in the second time. But this is, like I said, this is a topic for a new video. Just going to concentrate on the route-based VPN. So for route-based VPN, we don't need to enter anything here on the proxy IDs. I'm just going to click on OK. There's one thing that I think it's missing, the IKE gateway. Let me just click on it. Yeah, I forgot here on the advanced options. There is also this NetSums crypto profile. I have to choose this one here. And if you're using somewhere on your internet, in your connection between the gateway, some NAT, so you need to enable this NAT transversal. This is the place where you enable this. I'm not using any NAT, so I'm just going to leave it disabled. The enable passive mode would mean that this file that you're checking this, in my case the PAVM, would never start a VPN connection. It would wait until the partner starts the connection. But in my case, I want this gateway also to actively start connection. So whenever it sees interesting traffic, so I'm just going to leave it unchecked. This is the correct option from my configuration, and I'm going to click on OK. Okay, so we have the VPN stuff configured. Now let's go to the routing configuration. Virtual routers, and I click on my default. And then I have to enter a static route. I'm going to enter a static route for the network 192.168.40, which is the network that I want to reach on the other side. So R from route 192.168.40/24. The name, they don't support slash, so I use the hyphen 192.168.40/24. Now the interface, you choose the tunnel interface that you created, and as next hop, you choose none. Here there's an option also to choose path monitoring in case you're using some dynamic protocol. And I only have one tunnel and I'm not using any dynamic protocol, so I'm just going to leave it unchecked. So the next step will be to create the policies so that we allow the connection between the gateways. But before that, I'm going to go to objects and I'm going to create the new objects for the external gateways. I'm going to show you later. It's going to be easier whenever you have another new gateway to connect. You just need to, I'm going to show you how you do. For my firewall, the PAVM, I already have here. PAVM outside, I already have the IP address 101.0.0.1 configured. For the other one, I already have here. So now I'm going to create a group. Here, these are the two IP addresses that are going to be speaking with each other through my internet simulation. So I'm going to go to address groups, and then I'm going to click add, and I'm going to create a group here called GRP local site-to-site gateways. And here I'm going to enter only my PAVM outside interface. And I'm going to create another group remote site-to-site gateways, and here I'm gonna enter only my PA. This is PAS2S. I think I called this. Yes, that's it. Okay. So now I'm gonna create the rule, and whenever you have newer gateways to connect to your local gateway, so you just need to enter the new gateway here in this group, and you don't need to change any more policies here on the policies. Currently I only have one rule, which is to allow ping. I'm gonna add now a new one. I'm gonna call this S2S local remote. So in one direction, allow connections from local site-to-site gateway to remote gateways, like this. Source. My source zone would be my outside. Source address, I'm gonna call this group local site-to-site gateways. My destination is also outside. And my destination will be group remote gateways. Application. Now the application that you need to configure is called IPsec. IPsec. Very complicated. IPsec. In IPsec, there are this IPsec ESP, ESP UDP, AH, which we don't need, we need this one. But inside IPsec, there's also IKE. The IKE is already inside the IPsec, let's say, group or container. Leave like this, action, allow, log, okay. Now we're gonna do the other way around. So I'm gonna just clone this one. And I'm gonna call this remote local, allow connection from remote site-to-site gateways to local gateway. There. Source. Outside was okay, but now I want the remote. And here in destination, I want local. And that's it. Okay. Looks good. IPsec. And now we can commit our configuration. So now I'm at my firewall. I configure my other firewall. I haven't taken a look yet to see if it's working, but I'm gonna try to ping him in the computer with the IP address 4119. And I'm gonna try to ping the Linux on the other side. Yeah, my tunnel is working. And I can check here on the network. If I go to IPsec tunnels, I can see that it's green. So, looks good, everything. As far as I know, this kind of information, tunnel info, IKE info, you can only see if you're in the firewall. So if you're a user of Panorama, as far as I know, like I said, you need to make a connection to the firewall to take a look at this kind of information. Also the routes, that you can see the routes. I'm gonna click on it, show routes, and you can click on the forwarding table and you see what the firewall is actually forwarding. And here you can see this three information. So this is the network that I configured as a static, and these two, they are the network, the tunnel network, and this is the IP address from the interface tunnel 2. If you come to monitor, traffic, let's take a look at everything that goes to 172.16.00.24. We should see my ping. Okay, we see some stuff. So let's put address destination. There, this is my ping. And like I said, I was coming from the network 419. And I don't have here, I don't have here, but I think I have at Panorama. It shows the interface that it's sending the information through. Egress interface. This is the, no, ingress. Has to be the ingress interface. Tunnel 2. So it's coming through the tunnel, the ping. It's working. We did good. One more thing, guys, before I forget. Under monitor, and if you go to system, if you need to do some debugging, there are some possibilities to do debugging using the CLI, but the first, I would recommend you to start your debugging here under system, logs and system, and then if you click on VPN, you have the whole information regarding VPN debugging and everything. It's usually the message, the description from the log entry usually tells you more or less where to look for if there is something that's not matching. Most of the times you can find the information here. Otherwise, there are some other ways to do a debugging over the CLI. There you can see more information, but of course it's a lot more complicated. So my suggestion would be always to start your debugging, your troubleshooting using the system logs. So guys, you managed to the end of the video. I know it's a little bit of dry information, dry topic in the beginning, a lot of theory, but I hope you got some value from the video anyway. If you liked it, just give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you want. And if you have some questions, or if you would like me to make a video about a policy-based VPN, just leave me a comment in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.